Hi, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz. It's Mary, and I'm here with this week's edition of 90 Days and 900 Seconds. Before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 9, The Big Chill. And if I was going to give this episode a grade, I would give it a solid C minus, and that is solely because we are on episode 9 and we are still discussing Gino's sexual problems, as I predicted on episode 1. So let's set 90 seconds on the 900 seconds on the timer and let's jump right in. So, first of all I have to say is F you, 90 Day Fiance, for making me cry my eyes out within the first 30 minutes of this episode, and I'm going to explain why. So, first of all, we start off with David and Sheila, and we have a major tragedy. Sheila's mom fell down the stairs in the middle of the night, and she died, guys. Can you imagine the shock and horror when David and Sheila woke up and they realized that Sheila's mom is dead? Okay. Apparently, she got up at 5 in the morning and she fell down the stairs. Now, we all saw the conditions that Sheila lived in last week. Okay. Now, her mom passed away and Sheila is devastated, and David is like in a state of shock. Okay. David honestly doesn't know what to do, where to put himself. All he can do is just be there for Sheila, and that is the best thing for him to do. Okay. Now, Amy, the translator, she's another one. She is just like, her face is just pure, like, shock. She doesn't know where to put herself. Okay. So basically, in the Philippines, it is tradition to stay with the body of someone that passed away for 24 hours, or it's considered bad luck. Okay, so they take her mother's body to the chapel at the funeral home. And when Sheila broke down sobbing over her mother's coffin, I broke down sobbing. Okay, and David is just there. He doesn't understand the language. He's deaf, but he is doing the best he can to provide support for her. So he offers to let Sheila and her son come back to the hotel. Sheila has the translator explain that she has to be there for 24 hours, that she has to be there to watch over her mom's body. That is tradition, but she will go back with him to the hotel. She takes the ride back with him. And when she says goodbye to him at the hotel, I mean, the hug that he gives her is so heartfelt that made me cry. Then it's the day of Sheila's mom's wake, and David is like, he's never experienced a wake like this before. It's like a parade. But there's motorcycles and all this activity, and all this stuff is like really throwing him off, and it's really overwhelming for him. Just the experience in itself. Okay. He has just arrived in this country. There is stark poverty everywhere. Okay. And he gets there, and the night after he gets there, Sheila's mom dies in a tragic accident. Okay, so you could imagine how overwhelmed and sad he is feeling at this moment. Okay, but he is there being Sheila's rock. So it's the services, everybody's crying. I mean, it is so sad. Okay, and Sheila is worried that she can't multitask grieving and dealing with David at the same time. And she appreciates David's support. She really does. She says David's been there for her. Every time David sees her crying, David has been really supportive. But, in the back of her mind, she's worried that she's not going to be able to give David the love and attention that he needs and he deserves. Baby girl, Don't even worry about it. He's not worried about it. Trust me. He just wants to be there for you during this time. Don't worry about not being able to give him the attention that you think he deserves. There's plenty of time. Okay, Sheila. So they go back to the hotel because she can't even imagine spending the night in the home where her mother passed away. Her son is going to be spending the night with friends and family who will take care of him. And Sheila just needs time to grieve. It hasn't fully sunken in what has happened, and she needs time to grieve. And I'm happy that David is there with her. So now moving on. And I think it was a really stark transition to go from the tragedy of Sheila's mom passing away to Jasmine and Gino. But hey, anyway, I don't work for TLC editing. So we have Jasmine and Gino. They're spending quality time since that therapy session last week with Jasmine's friend / counselor. So what is quality time for Jasmine and Gino, you may ask? Shopping, of course. So they're going shopping for a present for Jasmine's sister, Liz. Since Liz has been living with them and putting up with all the bullshit, the least Gino could do is spend a lot of money in the jewelry store called Goldfinger and buy her a really nice gold necklace that says L on it. Okay, I get it. But while they're in the jewelry store, Jasmine wants a new engagement ring because, she accidentally lost the other one. Okay, Jasmine, I know you accidentally lost the other one, but what really got to me is when you said in your confessional that you sometimes would wear your old engagement ring from your ex-husband because you hated the engagement ring that Gino got you so much, and the old engagement ring was nicer. What in the actual fluck is going on? Jasmine, if Gino even thought about wearing, I don't know, a pair of socks that his ex gave him, oh, forget it. You would burn the socks in a bonfire with Gino in the bonfire. Okay? Who are you kidding? But it's acceptable for you to wear your engagement ring from your ex-husband because you liked it better than the ring that you accidentally lost that Gino gave you. Okay, now they're in the jewelry store and they're arguing because Jasmine thinks that she deserves a new engagement ring because she accidentally lost her ring. I think that all of the store employees during the whole 90-day franchise that have been tortured by the cast members deserve a new engagement ring from Gino, okay? Because this poor store clerk, I didn't understand half what the hell was going on because the argument was happening in English in front of her, but I'm sure she got the gist of it, okay? So basically, the argument went from, I need you to buy me an engagement ring, to why don't you spend the money since you won't buy me a new engagement ring? Take that money, Gino, and hire a fucking immigration attorney because you are so stupid. I know that you said it takes 13 months is the minimum it will take for immigration to issue me the K-1 visa. And I know it's been 12 months, but the minimum is 13 months, but I don't care because I am Jasmine and I want to get to the States, and 12 months is way too long for me, Jasmine. Okay, because I am Jasmine from Panama City, Panama, and I want to live in the United States, and I want to have hair extensions and make eyelashes in the United States, Gino. So you're an idiot. So because you won't buy me an engagement ring and because Gino Jr. keeps flopping, okay, you need to take that money instead and hire an immigration attorney, okay? And Gino's like, no, I don't need an immigration attorney because you are not my first foreign wife, bitch. Okay. I've had a foreign wife from Brazil before, and I brought her here on a K1 visa, and I did the papers all by myself before, bitch. And I was able to do it and get her here on a K1 visa, and I did it the cheap way without an attorney, and I'm not going to hire an attorney. Okay. 13 months. When we hit the 13-month timeline, then we'll see. It's only 12, Jasmine. You are not special. And he storms out. He's like, you need to change your attitude. I don't like your attitude. And he storms out. Okay. I was proud of Gino for a moment. Then we're celebrating Liz's birthday. And I will let you know why I was proud of Gino for a moment. Because he stormed out of the store. But wait until you find out what he did when he stormed out of the store. So, Jasmine and Gino are taking Liz out to celebrate her birthday. And they are going bike riding. You know, one of those bikes where everybody pedals. And I'm surprised they didn't cause like a multi-car crash in the middle of Panama City. So, Gino and Jasmine are, you know, pedaling in the front. Liz is in the back. And thank goodness, Liz's comprehension of English is very minimal at best because she did not want to comprehend this conversation, even though I'm sure she got the gist of it. So Jasmine suddenly turns to Gino and says, honey, do you want me to take over the pedaling? I don't want you to pedal so hard and give yourself a heart attack. And Gino's like, honey, why do you treat me like I'm an old shriveled up prune? You know, I have energy to do this. And Jasmine's like, well, you don't have energy to keep it up in the sexual department. So what makes me think that you'll have energy to ride a bike? And Gino's like, what are you talking about? Jasmine's like, well, you know, I fake my orgasms with you. I always fake my orgasms with you. Hello, Jasmine, we are celebrating your sister's birthday. Your sister is sitting in the back seat. Your little sister, mind you. Your little sister is sitting in the back seat of the bike. I bet you at this point she would rather be watching the Barbie movie. She would rather be anywhere than with you two guys, okay? And I know her English is very limited, but I bet you she got the gist of this conversation. Her facial expressions were priceless. But, haha, Jasmine was just kidding. Not really. Was she just kidding? So, Gino's happy that they were able to spend time laughing and enjoying each other till they go get ice cream. And guess what? When Gino stormed out of the jewelry store, so pissed off at Jasmine because she wanted an engagement ring or for him to hire a fucking immigration attorney because he's so dumb he can't handle the K1 paperwork on his own. He saw a vendor selling rings. So he decided to buy Jasmine a promise ring. And he presents her with the promise ring. And he promises, let's see, what the hell did he promise her? He promised her to do better, to give her more meat, and to be everything that he wants her to be. Basically, what the counselor says. Do whatever Jasmine wants you to do. Listen to Jasmine. It is Jasmine's world. And as long as you follow what Jasmine wants, everything will be okay. So he went, he got her a promise ring, 2 hearts. So romantic. Oh, it makes Jasmine, you know, her heart melts. Oh, baby, you're so romantic. And when she gets to the United States, she'll get a real engagement ring. And then we'll see how romantic Gino is. And yeah, there we go. Okay, moving on. Statler and Dempsey. Oh boy, these two. It is their first morning together. And Dempsey, she likes to sage her house in the morning. get rid of all negative spirits, negative energies. So she starts saging Statler's puss. Hey, why not? Trying to get rid of negative energies. Sage your partner's puss first thing in the morning. Okay. Dempsey's really worried that Statler will not get used to farm life. And this is why I say, fuck you, 90 Day, for making me cry twice within the first 30 minutes. So this is where we learn about Dempsey's background. Dempsey has always lived, you know, her family has moved around a lot, basically, because they lived a carnival life. They go around setting up fairs and carnivals, and that's what they do. And Dempsey is she has two sisters, and when she was 16, her big sister died. She was 19, and she died of carbon monoxide poisoning in her sleep. And this is where I cried for the second time. And Dempsey, she wasn't the same. And at 18, she left home, and she was basically couch surfing. She was really unhappy. She, was really unsettled, the death of her sister. And she met her friend, Ben. And Ben owns this big farm, and it's basically what they call a staycation in England. They have guests that stay there, and Dempsey works there. She does housekeeping. She's the cook. She loves cooking. She, cooks for the guests, etc. It takes, a lot to get used to, but Dempsey loves it. She's in the middle of nowhere. It's a simple life. It's a slow life, but her house is freezing cold. The bathroom doesn't have working plumbing. Like Statler says, she's going to have to squat in a field to poop. It takes a lot to get used to, and Statler's already complaining. It's really cold. She doesn't know where she's going to poop, and it's really small. And Statler has already put all her eggs in one basket, and she doesn't necessarily know what she's going to do. Okay, so now Dempsey decides that she's going to take Statler around the farm, because I bet you she's feeling Statler's vibes, okay? That Statler is not feeling this, and Dempsey really wants to, impress her, okay? And show her, listen, this is not like a stinky farm. This is where I live, and this is actually kind of cool, and I want you to see where I live and see how cool it is. Okay, fine. So, and Statler's, walking around with her. She shows her where the guests stay and stuff. And she's like, oh, this is actually really modern. And my thought when she said that was like, of course it's going to be really modern. That's where the guests stay. Like, okay. So she meets Dempsey's friend, Ben. And Ben's first impression is like, whoa, I can't believe that they got physical already. She's only been here for one night. It is not Dempsey. It is not like Dempsey to get physical with someone already. And he compared them to chalk and cheese, which I found so amusing. I guess that is an English expression of saying that people are opposite, like black and white. Chalk and cheese. Okay? I don't know who's chalk. I don't know who's cheese, but Dempsey are like chalk and cheese. They are complete opposites, according to Dempsey's best friend, Ben. So now, Ben brings up that Dempsey was kind of out of touch towards the end of her Thailand trip. And this, doesn't sit well with Statler, because Statler is automatically thinking that Dempsey was up to no good. Okay? And I don't know how I feel about this, because we don't know if Dempsey had given Statler any red flags before this to make her feel this way, or this is all Dempsey's insecurities. Because then, moving on, Dempsey is cooking Statler a vegan meal, okay? And Statler decides to eat a whole clove of garlic. And she's like, wow, my tongue is on fire. Statler. That usually happens when you eat a whole clove of raw garlic. But that's another story. And this is coming from the resident guinea of YouTube. But that's another story. So, Statler and Dempsey are having this great time cooking this whole meal when Dempsey decides to bring up the non-communication in Thailand. And she just straight out and says, listen, I feel like you were cheating on me, living your best life. And you could see Dempsey's face like, what? Whoa. Like she was hurt. And she asks Statler, have you ever cheated on anybody? And Statler was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. And you can see the look on Dempsey's face like, whoa, what the fuck? You are accusing me of cheating on you when I've already explained to you that I might be out of touch, Wi-Fi issues, etc., etc. But you that are admitting that you have a cheater past is accusing me, who I have been cheated on, never cheated before, of cheating on you? Hold up. Wait a minute. What the fuck? Statler, what a way to be a buzzkill. Just saying. Dempsey's like, I want to move on. I don't want to have all the baggage from the past constantly following us. I agree. I totally agree. Now, speaking of baggage from the past, constantly following in a relationship, Riley and Violet, and we have baggage that is constantly following on both sides. So it's the morning after the explosive argument where Riley told Violet to beat it, just beat it. So Riley is upset that he had his explosion of anger in public in a foreign country, not what he said to Violet. Okay, he doesn't regret what he said. He regrets that he had the public explosion of anger. Okay, so let's get that straight. So Violet is doing shopping therapy with her daughter. Now we're going to learn why Violet was so offended by Tiffany questioning her. Okay, see, Violet felt like that Riley should be defending her and not throwing her to the wolves. It triggered her, okay, because when she gave birth to her second daughter, apparently her ex-mother-in-law was like, I don't want another girl. I can have 10 girls. I just want a boy. Why doesn't she give me a boy? And her ex-husband didn't defend her. Her ex-husband just stood back to his mother and didn't defend her, a woman who had just gave birth. Okay? And it deeply cut her. And I get it. Okay? But Riley's sister, Tiffany, who he considers to be his sister, is looking out for him and trying to question her. And once again, we come to cultures clashing because later on, Tommy the tour guide explains things to Riley that he doesn't understand, but we will get to Tommy the tour guide later. So Riley is laying there in bed and Riley is like, I blocked her, but I got a message from her. And oh boy, wasn't a message. It was a whole freaking paragraph. Okay. So basically, the message said, you don't deserve to be a man. Whoa. My family can ask you questions. You're in my country, motherfucker. My family can ask you questions all they want. When I come to your country, your family can ask me questions. You have an uneducated, unscrupulous attitude. Riley, you beat it. Just beat it. Yeah, that was basically the summary of the whole paragraph Violet sent to Riley. Okay, so they are refusing to unblock each other. And I'm like, okay, this is really going to work. Now, you know how I've been saying that Riley should just take this time and just take a tour of the whole damn city? Well, it seems like he finally listened to my advice and he hired Tommy the tour guide. Tommy the tour guide takes him on a motorcycle tour of Ho Chi Minh City and he is loving it. Okay. He's hoping that he makes it from point A to point B in one piece on the back of the motorcycle, but he is loving his tour. He's like with Tommy. Okay. So he and Tommy get to the cigar and whiskey bar and they're sitting there chilling. Okay. And he tells Tommy the whole situation about Violet. And Tommy looks at him and basically tells him in a nutshell, man, you fucked up. And I will tell you why. In our culture, that kind of question should come from somebody that's actually blood family. Someone like your father. Your father should have asked her that question and not your friend. And it was like the light bulb went off above Riley's head. And he was like, whoa. And Tommy was like, yeah, dude, you fucked up. And I can see why she's mad. So I think you should unblock her, reach out to her, talk to her, and work things out. If she forgives you, man, if she doesn't tell you to just beat it, just beat it. So Tommy the tour guide, knock some sense into Riley, and you see the light bulb going off above his head. So we shall see. Finally, we have Christian and Cleo, and I have so many feelings about this, okay? Christian really reminds me of Caleb from B90 last season, okay? Because Caleb was dating Alina, the little person, because he thought it would be a fun, cool experience. And then once he realized in real life, it would take a little bit more into dating a little person than he realized it wasn't such a fun, cool experience anymore. This is the feelings I get about Christian. That is my opinion. Okay? So it's the morning after the disastrous date in that claustrophobic bar where Christian decides to turn around and start talking to a group of women right in front of Cleo on their first date. But he doesn't make the first move and he's not an outgoing type of person. Remember that for later. Okay? So now they're going shopping at the Portobello Market. And ooh, crystals. Okay? So Cleo is drawn to the tiger eye. So Christian decides to buy her a tiger eye crystal bracelet, puts it on her wrist, and kisses her on the cheek like they're in junior high. Okay, so now they stop at this cute little fish and chips place. Cleo feeds him a little piece of ribs. Okay, fine. He's hoping that they could turn things around because he's realizing that maybe the bar was a little bit too much. Cool. Cleo, I just want to say for the record, you are not being cliche for boring at all. He was totally disrespecting you on your first date, and I do agree with you. He would not like it if you turned around and started talking to a bunch of dudes and said, hey, guess what? I'm a model from Italy, and my last fashion shoot was A, B, C, D, and E. No, Christian would not have liked that. Oh, and this is the dude, Christian, that I'm dating. Would you like to talk to these guys? No. Oh, okay. No, Christian would not have liked that. He would have taken it as a total disrespect and not you just being friendly. Okay? So anyway, he's worried that her special needs are going to be too much for him. He's insisting that he didn't travel all the way to England just to have her as his travel arm candy. I say otherwise. So now, night 2, they're going to have just a quiet date night at home. He brings out the wine. There is not going to be any baby making playlist. I found that kind of weird. And he breaks out the virtual reality video games. He figures this will be a cool activity for them to do. Okay, I give you thumbs up for this. So then Cleo's, playing the zombies. She gets killed by zombies. They have a cool, fun time together, polish off the bottle of wine, and go to bed. Now, Christian says that he realizes he's putting a lot of pressure on himself about getting intimate. He doesn't know how he's going to react to Cleo's private parts, etc., etc. Okay, sounds like he wanted to date her for the experience, and now that he's actually in the experience, he wants to back out. So now he gets in bed with her, and she comes out in her little nightie, and he's like, "Oh, you look cute. Model it for me." She does a little twirl. She gets in bed, and she's like, "I feel the attraction between us. What do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah, I do. But, I don't like making the first move." Says the guy that turned around and started talking to a group of chicks on their first date the night before. Says the guy who drunkenly was talking to two 20-something-year-olds on the plane over there. He says to Cleo that he doesn't like making the first move with a woman. When he leans in for a kiss and he's going to get rejected, it really crushes him. And Cleo's like, "We've kissed before." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. But, if I'm going to go grab her butt or something or touch her leg and I get the body language that she's not really into it, it could really crush me. So I just kind of want to take things slow." And Cleo's like, "Okay." And I know she's thinking, "I'm laying next to you in my bed in a fucking nightie. Okay. I think I'm giving you the go ahead sign, Christian." But hey, he wants to take things slow. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But that's all for this week. Thank you so much for watching me. Please subscribe if you don't already. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. And please share my video with a friend or 10. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.